Omar, we'll talk about politics, but first I wanted to ask you about this beautiful scenery. We're in Lolab, and Allama Iqbal was stunned by the beauty of Lolab when he said, "Pani tere chashmon ka hai tadapta hua seemaab, murgan sahar teri fazaon mein hai betab." So, can you tell us about something about the beauty of this place and how stunning it is and campaigning in these surroundings?
I think I'm blessed, and my colleagues, all of us are blessed to be able to campaign in beauty like this. I mean, when you compare this to the campaign of sort of parts of the country that are nothing but urban sprawls, tall buildings, crowded roads, that in itself, when you add the 45 degree temperatures, here if the temperature crosses 25, we start panicking about the heat and what it will mean for us. So
लोग तो बोल रहे थे आज गर्मी है यहाँ पर.
है 25 degree है तो गर्मी है. But compared to the rest of the country, this is a blessing, and for those who have actually been born and brought up here, they are even more blessed. I get to visit. I hope that I'll get a chance to represent the people here. But the ones who call this place their home, they are incredibly blessed.
Omar Sahab, you have been contesting from Srinagar, now you are contesting from Baramulla. How is this election different from the previous elections?
Well, other than the fact that my constituency has changed, this election is different in so many ways. This is the first election, major election we are fighting after 5th August 2019. So clearly that's a big difference. This is the first election we are fighting as a union territory. This is the first election we are fighting after delimitation. Every single assembly constituency has been changed, altered, at the behest of the BJP and its proxy parties. Parliamentary constituencies other than Udhampur have all been altered. Jammu, Baramulla, Srinagar, Anantnag have all seen alteration, some more, some less. I mean, this is a completely new experience for us.
Right. And this election is not particularly about Bijli, Sadak and Pani. This is something more than that. You know, we waited for the legal option. The decision came. Obviously, that was not as expected by the National Conference and other parties. Do you have a roadmap to restore the special status or the statehood of Jammu and Kashmir?
Look, statehood is not really an agenda for us because we're taking that as a given. Regardless of which government is in power in the center after the 4th of June, statehood, whether before assembly elections or after, we're taking that for granted. But as far as what was done to us on the 5th of August constitutionally, in terms of our status and what that has meant for us, it's going to be a long struggle. It's an ongoing struggle. And hopefully, if not today, tomorrow, we will have a government at the center that is made up of friends that see eye to eye with us on this crucial issue. And then we'll work with them to see what best can be achieved for the people of Jammu and Kashmir. Because it is an issue. It's an issue that people are concerned about, particularly from a point of view of the security of their lands, their jobs, what it means for their future generations. And also the fact that the kind of promises that have been were made have not been realized. I mean, we're talking about the beauty of Lolab. The government makes tall claims about tourists and tourist numbers, new infrastructure. I mean, can they point out for me a single piece of new tourist infrastructure that has come up in Lolab after 2014? What is there is what was left by my government and my colleagues. In fact, I was shocked and so disappointed to see a tourist hut that we had created here, a prefabricated sort of imported tourist hut, which cost more than 1 crore rupees at that time, is almost completely sort of falling apart. Abandoned would be all right. It has now almost fallen apart. Now, instead of creating infrastructure, they weren't even able to look after the infrastructure we left for them to use here. So these tall claims about development, about a new Jammu Kashmir, about tourist numbers, changing people's lives, basically the tourists are going to the same places. New places haven't opened up.
Right. And BJP didn't field its candidates from Kashmir. Obviously, they say that things have changed, things have moved on, people have moved on. But at the same time, no candidates were fielded from Kashmir. What could be the possible reason? Aren't the two contradictory?
Of course, they're contradictory. The BJP has basically hollowed out its own claims. Having claimed that people are happy with the decisions of 5th August 2019, having claimed that everything is great and that so much development, investment and progress has been seen, I would have expected the BJP to have had their candidates at the forefront of this election.
Right.
Why the BJP felt the need to fight elections through proxies is something only the BJP can answer. But even the sort of gerrymandering that was done with constituencies. Look at Anantnag, the South Kashmir seat. The way Rajouri Poonch was cut from Jammu and attached to this constituency. The way in the last session of the parliament, virtually on the last day, suddenly the Pahadi reservation issue was rammed through parliament and the government orders were issued. Everything pointed to the fact that the BJP was going to contest that election itself. The fact that it didn't is surprising, but as I said, it basically has hollowed out all their claims.
You call them proxies, but they don't say that they are proxies. They say that we are not proxies.
Proxies never own up to being proxies.
Right.
Allies, either you're a proxy or you're an ally.
Right.
See, we are an ally of the India bloc. We're not a proxy. The BJP has allies and it has proxies.
Right.
Those who are part of the NDA are allies. The parties that are contesting against the National Conference here, in Anantnag, in Srinagar, in Baramulla, they are proxies.
What happened, Umar Saab? Why didn't Gupkar Alliance as a collective forum contest this election? We saw that happening in the past when they fought it jointly. There was a clean sweep. What happened this time around?
There weren't enough seats to share. And clearly, for the party that left the bloc, whether it is the India bloc or the PAGD, now it appears that their entire intent on joining was not ideological. It was to derive a seat from the National Conference. And their actions have proven it. Had the roles been reversed and I been in the place that Mehbooba is in, my decision would have been very different. But chaliye.
But she says that Dr. Saab didn't call her or inform her when the decision was made.
Mehbooba had already given her consent to Farooq Saab to take whatever decision he felt appropriate. I was sitting in that India bloc meeting in Mumbai, where Mehbooba Mufti, when she was asked to sort of speak, had said that whatever decision Dr. Farooq Abdullah takes with regard to the parliament seats of Jammu and Kashmir will be acceptable to her. Assalamu alaikum, will be acceptable to her. So when Dr. Farooq Abdullah took the decision, she changed her mind.
Right.
Why she changed her mind, what pressure was brought to bear,
but
who she benefits from doing this.
But do you think that it will help the BJP in turn, if they contest the election, it also divides the vote and it will in turn help the BJP?
Well, the BJP doesn't have candidates in this election. So anybody who's contesting against the National Conference and against the India bloc is benefiting the BJP. There are only 3 official India bloc candidates in this election in the valley. Mia Altaf from South Kashmir, Aga Ruhullah from Central Kashmir, and me from North Kashmir. So anybody contesting against the India bloc candidates is doing so to benefit the BJP.
Right. Omar Sahab, I wanted to ask you something about what's happening nationally. We're seeing campaigns. Prime Minister Modi has been repeatedly mentioning Muslims, that if at all Congress or the India bloc comes to power, then the resources will be diverted to Muslims, and he's been repeatedly saying it not once. What do you have to say about that?
It's unfortunate. Look, I know that in the heat of the campaign a lot of things get said, but you know, some things that are sort of brought out in the heat of the campaign don't just die once the election is over. They have a lingering effect. And this sort of division between communities or between people, it doesn't end on the 4th of June. It continues afterwards. Now, for a Prime Minister who, during his term in government, talks about representing 140 crore Indians, when he travels abroad, he talks about being the Prime Minister of 140 crore people. That 140 crore also includes the 14% of Muslims that get targeted by the BJP in the election. So, I mean, the fact that they're being targeted is unfortunate. The fact that the Election Commission does nothing about this targeting is even worse. One would have expected an organization or an institution that claims to be impartial and independent to have taken a stronger stand on this. But, I mean, what is even more surprising is that while the BJP's targeting of Muslims has not happened for the first time, the Prime Minister's targeting of the Ambani and Adani business families. I have never seen this before. And this, to my mind, is a lot more surprising.
So, Umar Sahib, the point is not just the speech. We saw posts also by the BJP, an Instagram post particularly that was taken off. You know, that is clearly and directly targeting one particular community.
It is. The speeches say it. I mean, they're cartoons that they put up and these memes that they use on social media. They all target one community. That protest by that Galgotia University students that was engineered outside the Congress office a few days ago in Delhi. Even that, students who had no idea what they were protesting about when they were asked by reporters. Well, one particular brave reporter who went out and asked them what they were protesting about. And they said, no, हमारी माओ बहनों के मंगलसूत्र जो है वो खतरे में है. So I mean, these are young students. They're probably not even of voting age. Their minds are being poisoned like this, which is tragic.
We see people coming out and waving at you all along this road. How does it feel in these areas which were particularly at one point in time militancy prone, but now it's very encouraging.
It's very encouraging. It's very humbling, but it also makes me realize just how much work one has to do going ahead to live up to the expectations of people. But what is also, to my mind, very encouraging, and you will know this better, National Conference was in the past accused of being a party of old people. That the National Conference cadre demographic is of the aged people. Look around you now, and it's a very healthy mix, both of men and women, of elders and youngsters, all sort of joining to support National Conference, which I find very encouraging.
Umar Sahib, we're seeing people, there's great excitement, but I was also seeing your sons clicking photos. Are they interested in politics?
They are doubling as my media people at the moment.
Really?
Because the camera people that I normally have from Srinagar with me, they are... My younger son, he's been blessed with enormous height.
I saw that.
So
he was in the back and clicking photos.
When he lifts his arm up and takes photographs or videos, it's like a drone shot.
So all the photos and reels you put up on the Instagram,
the ones from my North Kashmir tour have largely been by my sons.
I saw that. They're taking photos. But are they interested in politics? Because we saw them in the court at 370.
Everyone has an interest, but they're not active politicians. And I hope it's a long time before they become. Left to me, I'd like them to focus on their legal careers.
But would you want them to join politics in the future at some point?
Left to me, no, but the decision will always be theirs.
We saw them at 370 hearing. They were in the Supreme Court. We saw some of the photos you put across. So they seem to be following a career in legal.
They've both done their law. They've also done a master's in international relations. I'm very keen that they establish themselves as good, successful lawyers, either working with somebody or setting up their own practice. And hopefully once I'm done with this election, they can focus on that. So I need them to start earning money.
That's very important. But till the time you are campaigning, they are attached to you.
They come and go. They go back to Delhi in between to do some work there. Because they still have cases that they're representing people for. But otherwise, they spend a bit of time here as well.
So what is the way forward in Jammu and Kashmir? We know so many things have happened where in the past, the slogan was autonomy. Now it's restoration of the special status or perhaps even a statehood. What do you foresee? What is going to happen next? It's very unpredictable. Things seem to be very uncertain.
None of us have a crystal ball. If the last time we were campaigning for a parliament election in 2019, you had told me that the next parliament election we would be fighting as a UT, a divided Jammu and Kashmir, with everything that had been granted or the framework for accession that had been created completely removed, I wouldn't have believed you. So I don't know what is in store for us for the future. I only know what the National Conference will do. And the National Conference will continue its struggle along the pattern that we have done all these years.
But legal options have been exhausted now. It could be...
I don't believe that.
Yeah.
Because in the past, the Supreme Court has passed judgments in favor of 370. But that didn't stop the BJP from its struggle. So what's to say that a future Supreme Court won't overturn this Supreme Court's judgments? Look, Supreme Court judgments until the very final sort of full court bench are not carved in stone. So this was a 5-judge bench. Tomorrow you might have a 7-judge bench that will overturn this judgment, and so on and so forth. So I don't believe the last word on this issue has been written as yet.
You said in the past that BJP had also moved petitions in the past which were turned down by the court. So it could happen that very well that this could also be, turned down by a larger bench.
Yeah, it could. I mean, it's not beyond the realm of possibility. And so long as that possibility is alive, hope springs eternal. Umeed pe duniya kaim.
Umeed pe duniya kaim. That's a good note to end our interview on. But I want to ask you one question. How do you spend your time? How do you manage your time? Because Kaise Saab was telling me you're going to Srinagar, then you'll be doing your Friday prayers, then you'll be coming back. How do you manage all of this?
Well, actually, my days have got sort of a bit messed up at the moment.
Yeah.
I go to Matsil tomorrow, come back to Kupwara for Friday prayers, then campaign in Kupwara during the afternoon. I'll go back to Srinagar tomorrow night, campaign in Srinagar day after, then come back here. And then I'm here for a night again.
Yes.
And that's how it's going to continue. I had 3 days of campaigning in Baramulla, which at the moment the Election Commission seems to want to deny me the right to campaign. They have some flimsy excuse, citing security considerations. Now, that's strange because up until now I've been told, or you've been told, everyone has been told that the situation is so much better, militancy is on its last legs, stone pelting is now a thing of the past. Yet, because I'm sort of successfully campaigning and reaching people, clearly the BJP and its proxies are shaken by this, and they're trying to find ways to stop me. And now for 3 days, permission for electioneering has been denied to me. 10th, 11th, 12th, I'm being told I can't campaign. Obviously, I'm going to take this up at the highest levels of the Election Commission. So it just shows you the sort of situation we're dealing with.
So this is the semi-final and all set for the final also. I think this time around the National Conference is much more prepared than it was in the past because they got a lot of time to prepare for the election.
Well, yes, but going by the way elections are, I don't think you can ever have enough time because something will always change while you're in the middle of campaigning.
Thanks so much, Umar. It was a pleasure talking to you.